This video is sponsored by Gate.io. If you set an account up using the link in the description, you'll get 25% back on all your spot and futures fees for life. Gate.io. Hello everybody, welcome back to the weekend where basically things are flat as a pancake. Looking at Bitcoin here in a 4-hourly, and effectively this is the tiniest, smallest little range I remember seeing in such a long time. It lends itself to further upside though, I have to say. It definitely does. It looks more likely to break out than break down at this current moment in time. So obviously traditional markets are closed, but let's just have a little bit of a recap. Who told you that stocks were going to bounce? It was me. I did say buy the stocks. Stocks are going to rally. There's going to be a bounce for stocks, and we got the bounce exactly from the trend line, which was currently on the S&P 3%. It doesn't sound like much, but that's why we use leverage. And Tesla being one of the examples of one of the stocks which is going to bounce harder. Excuse me. At one point, it was up 700% or whatever. It's not a big deal. And to be fair with you, the way that this is closed has now generated a pump signal. So I know that Twitter generally is not particularly fond of Tesla at the moment, thinking it's going to keep going down. Does look quite good as far as I can see. I don't really see too much of an issue with it. That doesn't mean that I expect a 1,000,000% on Monday, but you know, slow and steady wins the race. Buy the dip in the buyer zone and blah blah blah. Again, same with supports. You buy supports, you sell resistances. Bought the support, and wait for a resistance if you want to sell that. You know, as far as any resistance is concerned, you could use this diagonal trend line just short of 4100. You could target a little higher than that, but really, at this current moment in time, I'd be looking to see if we can move the S&P all the way up to this level. Again, yeah, don't shoot me if it doesn't happen, but so far it's all working exactly as expected, as Mr. Moon would say. So let's get back to Bitcoin. I have to look at this on a crack trading time frame, being the 1-hourly, because we've been so static. Now, what are we looking at? We're looking at basically momentum shifting to the up. So it's just so unbelievable. Look at the size of this range. Look at this range. It's so small. The Bollinger Band from bottom to top is almost 0.5%. This is Bitcoin we're talking about. We've had such a volatile day on stocks, and this is what happened for crypto. That's the only thing that makes me concerned about this, is that it's the stock market which really had a great time yesterday, and that's where the fun was had. And I suppose this is why I was saying it more on the channel on Thursday, saying that, you know, stocks are going to bounce. Maybe crypto will bounce for association with that. And it didn't. But at least we were able to play some stocks. And, you know, I always say this, you know, when it comes to stocks in general, you know, sometimes that's where the fun is, and crypto isn't. And you know, to put all your eggs in one basket, basically, to just be doing crypto might not be the best way to manage markets. And when the stock market basically was showing all the signs of pumping, and we were just trying to think about crypto moving through association with that. Now, we can still borrow from that pump, and this is why I always bring it up. Forex too, but at the moment, you know, if I see the continuation on stocks, which is what I do see, we would expect, yeah, I suppose, as we see crypto being a risk asset, that some of that money, some of that liquidity, you know, will flood back into crypto. But it really hasn't. Look at this range. I mean, the range says it all. So on the 1-hourly, or above the center of this Bollinger Band, that is basically 22,345. And again, you know, we've got to cross over the 0 point on this hourly MACD really to start to gain more momentum. But I wouldn't be massively concerned for much further breakdown, unless, of course, unless we do start closing below these wick lows, which is about, well, it's really not far from where we're at right now, to be honest with you. We could more or less say where we are right now, to be honest. 4-hourly candle bodies below this wick low, about 22,300. So really, there's not much to it. It is essentially all part of the dip buy. And we were talking about this for ages, this 200 exponential moving average. When you get a golden cross, you look for a retest of it. We got the retest of it. Did you buy the dip? Okay, you did. Let's hope for the best, because normally what you'd expect on a retest, especially on a golden cross of an asset or a chart which is generally seen to be bullish, which I think crypto and markets are actually quite bullish at the moment, this should move into a V-shaped recovery. And they would happen usually quite quickly, like this one did. You know, we moved into this area. I said we're likely to see a V-shaped recovery. We got one. This wasn't in the form of a golden cross on the daily, but it was in the form of a golden cross on a 4-hourly. Retested that golden cross and went into a V-shaped recovery. This time it's a daily, so you'd expect to see the same kind of thing. Might take a little longer, and that's what I'd expect to see. So we're going to get that V-shaped recovery as far as I'm concerned. However, we may not. You all tuned in for assuming I've got some kind of horoscope or crystal ball that's going to explain the exact movement of all these charts, but I don't. It's all about probability, risk to reward, and all that good stuff. So I'm here to tell you that I still believe the overall analysis that I've had before we dumped down into that 200 exponential. That's what I would say. I think the 200 exponential offers the opportunity for a dip buy. And the V-shaped recovery should, kick into gear at some point next week, especially with stocks closing green and still trending up towards their major resistances. So, I mean, it's pretty basically that simple. Yeah, sometimes I honestly feel as though I should probably only make a video once every few days because I look at charts on dailies and sometimes just weeklies, and that's where I get the big swings major analysis from. I end up repeating the same thing over and over and over again, but you know, when it comes to these markets, I'm not saying I get it right all the time. No one does, but this has been a decent call, and it's all there for thou to see. And yeah, the stock market is where the money and the fun was had, but that doesn't mean that crypto can't follow suit. And I think it probably will. The analysis that we are looking at would suggest that that's where we're going to bounce from. And so we should probably expect that bounce. And the bounce being, you know, maybe a V-shaped recovery to a new local high, or at least up to the previous high, which is about 24,500. Either way, with the size of this Bollinger Band at the moment on the hourly, I really would expect to see a move happen any minute, to be honest with you. Not really very common to see a range so tight, so small. In fact, that's so uncommon. I'm surprised to see it myself, to be honest with you. So volatility incoming probably today, and unless there's some kind of FUD, I would be very surprised to see it dump down lower. I think it's more likely to break up and out and back up towards these ranges, and it wouldn't surprise me, honestly wouldn't surprise me if we did finish the weekend up into the $24,000 zone. I'm not saying that that's what was definitely going to happen, but it's more likely to recover out of this range than break down further, I have to say. Just because it's more likely doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen, but I think it's more likely. Everything points to that kind of move. Anyway, that's it. There's really nothing much more to say about that. So I'm going to go and feed my kids. I'm going to probably have a little bit of Marmite on toast. What is it that you're having? Pump my algorithm. Tell me what breakfast you're going to eat right now, okay? Pump my algorithm with breakfast recipes. Other than that, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Maybe join the Patreon. Links in the description below. Many links for you to set up a whole range of exchanges with a variety of different benefits for you. Other than that, yeah, have a nice weekend. Take it easy.